Welcome to Cultura Latina. This week we got to know a bit more of Latin traditional rhythms. Through the music of Mexico and Argentina and the experiences of the artists, these traditional sounds keep entertaining crowds locally and internationally. Follow the music. Admire the art. Place yourself inside historic architecture. Every week, here on Telesur English. Welcome to Cultura Latina. Tango icon Carlos Gardel's musical legacy is preserved by a museum that captivates visitors old and young, including a new generation of fans from across the world. The house on 735 Jean Jaude Street in the Abasto neighborhood of Buenos Aires is not just any other house of the Argentine national capital. Carlos Gardel, considered the most prominent figure in the history of tango, lived in this house, which is now a museum dedicated to his life and work. For those who don't know who he was or are curious to know more about tango music, a visit to Gardel's house is ideal. It takes you back to the pinnacle of this genre of music in the early 20th century and gives you an immediate impression of just why Carlos Gardel and his music left such a profound mark of Latin American culture.
Hace 4 años viajé a Buenos Aires para hacer tango.
4 years ago I came to Buenos Aires to do tango. I studied in this academy. I also took dance lessons, but also I am a tango singer. The truth is, this academy tells all of our history, our national patrimony, our music. As you can see, the museum has different pictures of different times, pieces, and years of tango. To me as a tango singer is like university. Coming here is to revive old tango and national music founders.
Revivir viejos próceres del tango y de la música nacional.
It is a well-known saying, not only in Argentina but in all Latin America, that Carlos Gardel sings better as the days go by. Even though Gardel lost his life in an airplane accident back in 1935, he is still revered by millions of tango lovers, and not just in Argentina. As soon as you walk into this museum, Carlos Gardel's voice can be heard through the speakers, his distinct voice accompanying the visitor throughout the entire visit.
Bueno, en primer lugar, lo más atractivo del museo es que exista este museo.
The most attractive thing about the existence of the museum is the fact that there's no many places that tell the musical history with such detail. From little records to pictures, they're unique documents. Above all, this museum has a present. There's lessons here. So many tourists can learn and study tango culture through very beautiful objects, bandoneones, pianos, instruments, all dance shoes that remain here. But the most important is the tango still exists and people take home the best impression in one place, the National Tango Academy.
Anoche de nuevo te vieron mis ojos. Anoche de nuevo te tuve a mi lado, ¿pa' qué te habré visto si después de todo fuimos dos extraños mirando al pasado? Ni vos sos la misma, ni yo soy el mismo, los años, la vida, quién sabe lo que es. De una vez por todas, mejor la franqueza, yo y vos no podemos volver al ayer.
Paciencia, la vida es así. Quisimos juntarnos por puro egoísmo y el mismo egoísmo nos muestra distinto. ¿Para qué fingir? Paciencia, la vida es así.
Son Jarocho and the Fandango are sounds that come from a deep Afro-Mexican and Spanish heritage that combines music and dance, embracing different realities of a diverse nation. Come see.
The people or slaves brought from Africa to work in the cotton and sugarcane crops were mixed with Baroque music and indigenous people already here into a cultural and musical fusion which created what is known as the party or celebration, the Fandango.
Traditions that last are ones that evolve according to what is happening in the social context.
The Fandango is a party. It is a festival that takes place around a platform, a wooden box called the tarima. It is the main percussion instrument in music.
While on the tarima, even though you're just dancing, you're building community because you have to understand who you're dancing with.
It is an inclusive celebration. No one is left out. The Fandango is not only just the music and musicians. The Fandango is also the people who go to the Fandango.
Sometimes they sing to you, and so you listen to the compliments they send you.
The verses come from a very old structure, derived from structures that were used in Spain by the monarchy and during conquest.
But part of this tradition includes lyrical improvisation. Yes, there are historical verses, known verses that everybody sings, but it is also a tool used to express just about anything, all through verse. Many themes are about love. Another common thing is daily life. We live in the past. There are verses where it talks a lot about the processes of war, revolution. One can read history through the verses of Son Jarocho.
Through the music, we can sing verses of protest that people will actually listen to, instead of just a chant or a scream.
The Fandango is a tradition of people's resistance, and of the people of Veracruz. It is resistance that gives identity, to fight against any system that wants to impose itself.
I personally used to look at it as something a bit sexist, and I think gradually those roles have been changing, and now us women don't just dance, we also sing. And I also think the voice of women is heard, and heard strongly.
It is a music that is nourished all the time by different cultures, different instruments, different music, and different ideologies of life.
That is why it has become so popular, and as I've said, it has crossed borders. There are Jarocho musicians in many parts of the world. So it's funny how that a tradition that stems from the mestizaje and has a history based in many cultures is now growing abroad.
Merging music is merging cultures.
Through this, attitudes are changing and going beyond the Fandango. The sexism that existed before not only is changing within the Fandango, but continues to change even after the music stops. The way we interact and interrelate is changing as well.
Don't be afraid to break with the structures that be. And I also invite the musicians to always hold respect for those who have been the main actors and promoters in this context. But also, it is important to learn to be critical. That's something that people in society in general need to learn. And for more young people to be critical in what we are taught. Thanks for watching. Next week we'll show you a bagpipe band in Mexico and an alternative cinema space you won't want to miss. See you then.